Tonight on CTV News at 6. Services suspended.
The issue is that they haven't presented enough of a top-up for the service people. So they kind of left them behind.
We take you to Timmins and the transit strike. With the labor dispute approaching its fourth week.
If there's any day that caused an impact, I hope it's today.
Striking college support workers rally across the province. And preparing for takeoff.
We really think that passengers will appreciate their experience.
A new airline is providing direct flights from Sudbury to Ottawa.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you are with us on this Thursday, October 2nd. 39 full and part-time Timmins transit employees are on strike. They say they stand united to ensure 3 of their co-workers are paid as well as they are. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
39 Timmins transit employees are on the picket line. They're members of the Canadian Union of Public Employees Local 1544. They rejected the city's offer and for the first time are on strike.
We came to an agreement with the bargaining team on Friday and thought that this had been resolved, but we'll wait to hear from them to find out what it exactly is they're looking for and how they want to go about starting conversation again to see if we can get there.
The CUPE members declined the city's offer for not providing 3 service workers enough money.
The issue is that they haven't presented enough of a top-up for the service people. So they kind of left them behind.
Fleury says a service worker cleans the buses and the shelters and picks up garbage around the terminal. According to the city's website, its offer includes a base rate adjustment of 4.5% for drivers and 8% for mechanics.
They offered a good contract, but they forgot the service people, and it's like we're going to stand together, right? That's what we're all about. We stand united. So if they didn't get what they deserve, then that's why we went on strike.
I know there's a lot of competition for mechanics to go to the mine sites and all that kind of stuff, but I've always loved the city transit. I love my supervisors and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm here fighting for just a smaller group of the team.
The strike has left residents without public bus service since Monday. Northern College has hired a private bus company to shuttle its students. CUPE officials say Timmins transit workers have been among the lowest paid in the province, and frustration has been building for years. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
As the college strike enters its 4th week, efforts to send a message ramped up in Sudbury today. Traffic was slowed in parts of the city as post-secondary workers were joined by a number of supporting unions. CTV's Amanda Hicks has more.
Gridlock hit the areas surrounding Collège Boreal in Sudbury Thursday morning, with demonstrators slowing vehicles looking to access the campus.
If there's any day that caused an impact, I hope it's today. We can create some movement, we can create some noise.
Colleges are big employers. I'm from Sturgeon Falls, so it's a big employer in Sturgeon Falls, so we want to keep our job local and we want to save our college.
The union says with the strike now entering its 4th week, they're ramping up efforts to get the College Employer Council back to the bargaining table.
We want job security. We don't want managers doing our jobs. We want no contracting out. We want to make sure that the college and the jobs that we have, we're all specialists. All the people behind me are specialists in their field. That's why we were hired.
The College Employer Council says there are no talks planned at this time, saying that both sides are at an impasse.
There's significant job protection available there. There's significant job protection around contracting out, where you will not lose your job as a direct result of contracting out. So the suggestion that they need more enhanced, we don't think is reasonable, and certainly not in the manner in which they're pursuing it.
An estimated 300 plus people are here from Sudbury to Elliott Lake to West Nipissing. The crowd includes Collège Boreal workers and supporters from other unions who have rallied to show their solidarity, including the Canadian Postal Workers Association and the United Steelworkers Union.
Enough is enough with the government stepping in and ruining or interfering in the proper collective bargaining process. And it's time we all take a stand and stand for each other. And for the Canadian Union of Postal Workers, we're taking a stand not just for each other, but for the public.
The union says ultimately their goal is to secure their future and return to work.
We love our jobs, we love our students, and we want to be able to go back inside that building and do what we were hired to do.
Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
A dire warning today for Canada Post. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says the Crown Corporation risks losing nearly 2/3 of its small business customers if the worker strike continues.
More and more businesses every single day that the strike continues are doing the same. I got to tell you, for Canada Post workers and the future of the corporation itself, that makes the reform job way, way harder.
The organization says 13% of small businesses have stopped using Canada Post since the last strike, and nearly 2/3 said they'd do the same if another one happened. The Federation is urging the federal government to end the strike. Last year's strike cost small businesses more than $1 billion. In the meantime, United Steelworkers Local 2020-05 have ratified a new 4-year agreement with Sudbury mining giant Valley. Office, clerical, and technical workers inked a deal that will see a 5% wage increase this year and 3% increase per year for the remainder of the agreement. In a news release, the union said the workers made major gains on pension, health and safety, and vacation rights. Sault Ste. Marie MPP Chris Scott has made his first public comment since being arrested and removed from the Progressive Conservative Caucus. It's been over a week and a half since Scott was charged with assault and assault with a weapon. In a social media post today, Scott says he's taking a hiatus as he deals with the legal matters before him and states that he has retained counsel to represent him. Despite calls for his resignation, he says he's staying on. Scott says, "I'm taking a short leave from partisan and non-essential public appearances, but remain fully committed to serving the people of Sault Ste. Marie as I was elected to do." Members of the Provincial Riding Association for the New Democrats, who fell just over 100 votes shy of Scott last election, say he needs to resign while he deals with his legal troubles.
His main pitch to voters here, though, was that he would be close to the Premier. He's worked in his office, and that he would have close connections to the PC government, who've very clearly set him aside. Not saying that independents can't get things done, but he's in a very unique circumstance where he's ostracized at Queen's Park. He can't effectively represent us. So it is really disappointing, again, that he hasn't stepped down.
Scott adds that his office is open to help residents with casework, government programs, and everyday issues. McLeod believes Scott has lost the public trust and worries that residents will be hesitant to go to his office for assistance. Now to the weather. Pretty nice conditions out there, but here come the winds of change. With more on that, here's CTV's Rick Wyman.
Oh, I like that, Tony. The winds of change. Yes, we do have some precipitation coming in. Our systems map right now, and of course, we do have a sweep of precipitation, if I could use that term, for tomorrow, pretty well across the northeast. And of course, chance of showers, risk of a thunderstorm in Timmins, and the chance of showers in the Timmins area, 60% for tomorrow. So that's a pretty good bet. Greater Sudbury, several other areas at 30, 40%. So we'll talk about that. Our current conditions, Tony, you alluded to the conditions for today. We've got some nice weather for this evening as well, but that's going to change in the next couple of days. It'll get cooler by midweek next week. We'll get into further details on the 7-day forecast. Tony?
Thanks for that, Rick. Progress continues at the old St. Joseph's Hospital site in Sudbury. The building has been torn down. Just a pile of rubble remains. In August, the city issued a demolition permit for Panoramic Properties to tear down the 75-year-old structure. Panoramic bought the building in 2010, and it had been idle ever since. Flying high, still to come on CTV News at 6. A new air service comes to Sudbury with a direct flight to the nation's capital. But first, let's take a live cam shot of the Michigan Harbor. It's 21 degrees, pretty nice out there. More news still ahead.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Some tense moments in Sagamok, west of Sudbury this afternoon after the Anishinaabe police issued a shelter-in-place order around noon. A man was seen walking around the Fort Cloche, Beaudreville and Maple Ridge subdivisions with a gun. The shelter-in-place order was lifted 2 hours later after the man was found in possession of a pellet gun. No charges are being laid after police spoke with the man. An early morning robbery has led to an arrest in North Bay. A man approached a pickup truck parked by a business on Drury Street and loaded a bicycle into the bed of the vehicle. He then opened the driver's side door, punching the driver and trying to pull them out of the vehicle. A witness intervened and the suspect fled on foot. North Bay police found the man a short distance away and arrested him. The 41-year-old now faces charges of robbery and obstructing police for providing a false name. The victim was taken to hospital with minor injuries. A crash on Highway 11 in Valrita, just outside Kapuskasing, put one person in hospital. Emergency crews responded to a serious collision early Tuesday morning that closed the highway in both directions for 5 hours. The driver was taken to hospital with non-life-altering injuries. A new air service is taking off from the Greater Sudbury Airport this fall, providing service for the first time in 10 years direct to Ottawa. CTV's Lindsay Alick has the details.
Prop Air is preparing for takeoff. In a few weeks' time, the airline will be providing flights from Sudbury to Ottawa every day except Saturdays at 6:30 a.m. and returning at 9:10 p.m.
One of the most asked for routes is Sudbury to Ottawa direct, and then second to that, Sudbury to Montreal. So the fact that we can now deliver that service 6 days a week, morning and evening, is a huge win for the traveling public and the community at large.
The aircraft that we are using are Beechcraft 1900. It's an 18-seater aircraft. The aircraft is really made for this type of operation. It's a 1-hour flight. It's really fast and comfortable aircraft.
Whether travel is for business or leisure, the flight offers connections to Montreal and Quebec City.
We really think that passengers will appreciate their experience, and as we are using FBO facility out of Montreal, Ottawa, and Quebec City, it's really fast. So people will avoid long time daily at main terminal. So it's really a corporate operation, but for all the population.
While some northern airports are seeing airlines scale back, Sudbury officials say that's not the case here.
We're all facing the same challenges from a regional perspective, but for Sudbury Airport, our focus has been air service development and ensuring that we are able to work with airline partners to increase and improve the level of service for our community.
Pre-pandemic, the Sudbury Airport saw close to 270,000 passengers per year. In 2025, the airport has seen 140,000 passengers to date. But Varelli says significant growth is anticipated in the years to come. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Garson.
There's mixed news for Algoma Steel and Sault Ste. Marie today. The company has announced stakes in a large contract out west, but its latest quarterly report outlines significant losses for the steelmaker. The company has estimated that the third quarter will amount to between $80 and $90 million before all deductions. Shipments are expected to be upwards of 420,000 tons, with the reduced figures largely related to the ongoing trade war with the United States and heavy tariffs on the steel industry. On a brighter note, Algoma is part of a strategic collaboration to supply steel for a major railway project in Western Canada. CEO Michael Garcia alluded to the deal earlier in the week, while his company and the government announced $500 million in loans for the steelmaker.
We've talked to companies in Canada working on a high-speed rail line between Edmonton and Calgary. All of these people working on the future of Canada, they know that they are going to be under scrutiny going forward, that if you're building a project in Canada, whether it's a mandate or a preference, there's going to be scrutiny and people are going to be talking about where you're getting your steel.
And Algoma Steel may supply between 1.5 and 2 million tons of steel over the course of the project. The Greater Sudbury Chamber of Commerce says it's hearing more about safety, cleanliness, and crime in and around downtown businesses. Right now, it's conducting a business impact survey to gather feedback about the issues. CTV's Alan Everson has more.
The Chamber says it recently met with the Mayor and Chief of Police to call for urgent action and leadership about open drug use, public disorder, harassment, break-and-enters, theft, property damage, and unsanitary conditions. It shared examples from businesses.
The recommendations that we presented really fall under 3 themes: increased police presence and transparency in how issues are being addressed downtown by the city and by the police. Cleanliness, which is very important, so increased service levels for garbage pickup.
The Italian says the third area is back to work policies to increase foot traffic downtown. To further recommendations made by the Chamber, it's conducting a survey until the end of October with area businesses.
We're hearing that increased costs for security, employee morale, the safety of their employees and their clients are becoming issues. And these issues are escalating, and our survey results are showing that these instances occur daily in some cases.
We talked to one longtime downtown business owner who did not want to appear on camera, but shared some thoughts about the social disorder issues in the area.
As a mom, it's really hard to watch these kids having their issues. As a store owner, yes, I definitely feel the impact of what's going on, whether it's frightening customers, deterring them, that sort of thing. So pressure your government.
The Chamber says so far, 86% of the respondents to the survey say they have noticed an increase in crime, drug-related activity, safety and cleanliness issues over the past 6 months. Alan Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Okay, back now for a check on your current conditions. Once again, here's Rick.
Night, Tony. We've got a nice night going, and of course that's all going to change in the next couple of days. Some precipitation moving in to the northeast. Here's that band right now. It should affect us by tomorrow at around noon and will continue over the course of the next couple of days. So we'll check out some of the numbers just a couple of minutes away. But first, let's check out your current temperatures. Loads of sunshine in Moose City at 23. Mainly sunny in Cochrane, and again some sun and cloud in Timmins and Kapuskasing. Sunshine, so the temperatures 23, 19, 22, 23. No complaints there. Meanwhile in Chapleau, beautiful night there, 21 with the sunshine. Wawa 22 with the sunshine. In the Sioux this hour, we've got sunshine and 19. How about Parry Sound? More sunshine at 19 as well. And moving on up to North Bay, some sun and cloud at 17. Temiskaming Shores 21 with the sun and mainly sunny skies in Kirkland Lake at 22. Greater Sudbury 18, some clouds, some sun, but nice night as well. For Sudbury Nickel Belt, Espanola more of the same at 18, Elliott Lake 17, sunshine, and Gore Bay 17 with the sunshine. So Tony, coming up, your 7-day forecast as you start making plans for the weekend. You'll find out how wet or how dry it is about to be in a couple of minutes. Back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. The Mayor of Sudbury lays out a plan next on CTV News at 6. Paula 5 talks about creating safer streets, stronger supports, and shared responsibility. And the federal government is launching the Defense Investment Agency. The Mayor of Greater Sudbury has big plans for how the city could address some of its major social issues. As CTV's Angela Gamel explains, it will address some of the concerns from the city's Chamber of Commerce.
Let's continue to work together to address our challenges together and make Sudbury the best place to live, work, and play.
Mayor Paul Lefebvre gets a standing ovation after laying out temporary solutions for several problems plaguing the city. Social issues like homelessness, housing, and mental health.
So it's a multi-pronged approach, right, to make sure that we create spaces in our downtown and other areas. People feel safe, welcome, right, and want to participate in a vibrant downtown at the same time that we take care of our most vulnerable individuals. And that's a bit of the plan, right? And we know we've been doing a lot of things, It's kind of tying it all in together.
Lefebvre wants the city to ask upper levels of government for more funding to create additional supportive housing, while also increasing services and supports at Energy Court for those who are homeless. He wants the city to work with local agencies to help improve mental health services. And he also plans to increase cleaning services and safety around the downtown. Despite the lofty goals, Lefebvre told the crowd he wants to see this all done without raising taxes.
That is the goal, and if there are added levels of service that we need to do, we will evaluate, and it's up to council to decide, right, if there is going to be an effect on the levy, but I think we can do it with some of the reorganization that we do with some levels of service that we're providing to ensure that we are meeting our level of service.
In a news release issued today, the Greater Sudbury Police Service says it supports the goals and is committed to promoting safety and reducing crime through a balanced, community-focused approach. More on the city-led transformation project will be discussed and voted on at next Tuesday's council meeting. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
The federal government has officially launched a single procurement agency for its big defense purchases. The new Defense Investment Agency aims to cut red tape to get the Canadian Armed Forces the equipment it needs faster. CTV's Judy Trin has taken a closer look at what that means in the context of a trade war.
Of all the billions of dollars Canada spends on military equipment, 75% of it goes to suppliers in the United States. A former fighter pilot turned politician says the new Defense Investment Agency will change that.
We're not going to be spending 75 cents of our dollar south. We'll be amortizing that money out in Canada where we can, and then spending it in other places where we have to.
The agency aims to cut red tape and duplication. It will aim to prioritize selecting Canadian companies on big contracts valued at more than $100 million for equipment like drones, small arms, and shipbuilding. But there are no targets for how much less they want to spend on American weapons. The first major decision the agency will make involves procuring up to a dozen new submarines to replace Canada's aging fleet. But the minister says the purchase of more F-35s from the U.S. is still under review. Canada could buy fighter jets from Sweden instead.
There's no pressure on us to make a decision until we're ready to make a decision. We're a sovereign country.
The slow play comes as trade talks drag on. Before a Senate committee, the country's top negotiator tempered expectations.
Resolvable might mean going back to where we were a year ago. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but I think we can be in a lot better position over time than we find ourselves in today.
The federal government also wants to use these big procurement contracts as leverage to encourage foreign companies to set up manufacturing here while increasing market access for Canadian companies overseas. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is pushing for the Liberals to get on board with his party's plans to reform Canada's bail system.
While people are dying on our streets, where our citizens are being massacred, while women are being killed by abusive ex-husbands, Mark Carney has spent 6 months spinning in circles, leaving Liberal laws in place. And he is personally responsible for the violence on our streets because it is him that is standing in the way of us fixing the problem.
Poilievre pointed to several recent media reports about violent crimes being allegedly committed by people out on bail. He claims under Liberal bail laws, a number of crimes have gone up in Canada, including sexual assaults and homicides. He says Conservatives plan to introduce a motion in the House of Commons to fast-track a proposed Conservative bill dubbed the Jail Not Bail Act. Some measures include making judges consider an accused's full criminal history and making it harder for people who commit major offenses while on bail from receiving it again. And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Well, Tony, as you like to say from time to time, we're shifting gears when it comes to the weather forecast. I know that you'll appreciate that term. Precipitation, we've got it coming in as early as, tomorrow, and you'll have a look now in our forecast radar, that band of precipitation by about 11 a.m. tomorrow, just before lunchtime, continuing through. Chance of showers, Timmins, risk of a thunderstorm, 60% chance of showers. Here's that system early Saturday morning, really approaching Moosonee and Kapuskasing, sweeping right through. So we'll take a look at some of the numbers momentarily. Few clouds in Greater Sudbury overnight. Sault Ste. Marie, more of the same. Chance of showers in Timmins, Temiskaming Shores, a few clouds, and North Bay as well. The temperature is quite favorable for this evening. Cloudy in Moosonee, Caphurst, chance of showers, more of the same. Wawa, a few clouds, Gore Bay, and Parry Sound, a few clouds. That's what's happening overnight. Meanwhile, this is what's happening for the next couple of days. Sudbury, Nickel Belt, chance of showers 23. Here we go, sun and cloud. Saturday, Sunday, not too bad at 26. Monday, Tuesday, chance of showers 24, 16. Then the cool down big time, 11 next Wednesday, sun and cloud. That is below normal. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, chance of showers to start things off tomorrow, 24, 25 and 24 with the cloud. Saturday, Sunday, chance of showers for a couple of days, Monday, Tuesday, 16 and 12, then 11 on Wednesday, sun and cloud, again below normal. Lots of precipitation, Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. Sorry about this. Chance of showers, 60% for 2 days. Risk of a thunderstorm for tomorrow. And again, 22, 25. Chance of showers Sunday, Monday, Tuesday at about 30%. 28, 21, 14. So we're dropping by 14 degrees from, well, Sunday till Tuesday. 9 degrees your high. Wednesday, sun and cloud. How about Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake? Chance of showers tomorrow, 21. Cloud cover Saturday, 25. Sun and cloud Sunday, 27. Then 22 Monday. Then 13 on Tuesday. So again, you can see that fall in temperature. We've got the chance of showers both days. Wednesday, some sun and cloud, and only 10. An overnight low of -2 coming up. So get ready for that. North Bay, West Nipissing. Chance of showers tomorrow, 23. How about Saturday and Sunday? Very nice at 26. Monday, Tuesday, chance of showers both days, 24, 16. And then we cool off to 11 Wednesday with the sun and cloud, and only 2 overnight. But that's next week. We'll get through that. We've got some warmer temperatures. And again, the chance of precipitation on again, off again, depending on where you live. How about a look at our pick of the day, or maybe should they be the picks of the day? Beth Angus, Providence Bay, great shots, I should say. It's the plurality here. Manitoulin Island of sunsets. And again, Beth, thank you so much. Keep those pictures coming. So again, your picks could be on tomorrow night at the same time. Stick around. Tony has got more news still to come between now and 7. Coming up next.
Welcome back. You're watching CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. Following the recent court decision in the high-profile Hockey Canada sexual assault case, 2 local women's advocacy groups are calling for sweeping changes. They are demanding accountability from both the justice system and the NHL. CTV's Rita Ishmael reports.
In the aftermath of the July 24th not guilty ruling in the Hockey Canada sexual assault case, 2 advocacy groups say Canada's legal and sports systems can do a better job of dealing with sexual assault allegations.
There were a number of statements that were made in the judgment that we felt we needed to respond to as advocates for survivors of sexual violence. And also, we want to be part of solutions. We want to be able to give those who are in positions of power and authority some good, strong, evidence-based suggestions on how we could make the legal process safer, stronger, and more just for everybody.
Jesse Roger of ANOVA and Jennifer Dunn of the London Abused Women's Centre are calling for urgent national reforms. In a joint statement, the 2 leaders outlined key demands, including transparency from Hockey Canada to release the investigation report.
For Hockey Canada to release their investigation would be
really important for them to do. On top of that, with hockey, with the NHL being the only professional sports organization that does not have a specific policy around sexual assault or intimate partner violence, they simply just need to do that.
They're also calling on the federal and provincial government to take action, including better judicial education on trauma and gender-based violence and reforms to courtroom practices that they say often re-traumatize survivors during cross-examination. Roger and Dunn say survivors can no longer afford to wait for systems to catch up, and that real justice must be grounded in evidence, compassion, and accountability.
We need widespread systemic change, and so we need to start somewhere, and out of the Hockey Canada verdict, this is where we're starting. Some really concrete examples on how to move forward.
The statement has already begun circulating among lawmakers and sport officials, with advocates hoping it sparks urgent dialogue and real reform. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
And CTV News reached out to Hockey Canada and the Ministry of the Attorney General for comment. As of airtime, we have not heard back. Ottawa has updated its travel advice for the United States with a cautionary note about gender-neutral passports. The advisory warns that while Canada issues passports with an X marker for people who don't identify as strictly male or female, it cannot guarantee entry or transit through other countries, including the United States. For travelers using that designation, the statement goes on to warn travelers may be asked to provide their gender information as either male or female. Auto insurance is a major household expense for many drivers, and rates have been rising steadily as insurers face higher costs. Despite being such a large part of the household budget, there are still some myths drivers may believe that just aren't true. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
There are about 26 million vehicles on the road in Canada, and it's mandatory to have car insurance. But not all policies are the same, and there can be differences in what's covered and what isn't. The first myth, comprehensive coverage is the same as full coverage. That's false.
It will provide coverage for perils like fire, theft, vandalism, if someone's trying to break into your car, causes damage, that type of thing.
Stephen Harris with lowestrates.ca says collision insurance covers you for accidents with other vehicles, collisions with objects, or hit-and-run crashes. Having both collision and comprehensive is generally considered full coverage. Myth number 2, a personal policy covers rideshare driving. That's false. Most personal policies exclude commercial use, such as ride sharing and food delivery. If you're going to do that, you'll need additional coverage.
But you don't want to shortcut that. You want to be transparent, so at the time of claim, there's no surprises, because it could be a very costly mistake.
If I have 2 at-fault claims, my insurance can go up substantially. That's not a myth, it's true.
If you have 2 at-fault accidents, generally in a period of about within 6 years, you would move into what's called a non-standard insurance market for auto insurance. And yes, your premiums do go up quite a bit.
If I lend my car to a friend and they crash, their insurance pays. That's false, it's a myth.
If you lend your car, you lend your insurance. So if that person is driving the vehicle and is in an at-fault accident, it generally will follow the registered owner of the vehicle. So do be mindful about who you lend your vehicle to.
Older cars only need liability coverage. In this current market, that's false.
Definitely don't assume I have a 10-year-old, 12-year-old vehicle. It's not worth a lot anymore, because it really has changed in the past few years.
A 10-year-old car these days could still be worth $15,000, so you'll want to go over your coverage with your insurance company to see if keeping full coverage on an older vehicle might make sense. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Our region is popping with color over at Algonquin Park. The leaves are turning and the views are stunning. CTV's Rob Cooper found out what makes this season so special and how to soak in nature's annual show safely.
Whether it's Muskoka or Algonquin Park, you don't have to look very far to find a perfect view.
We heard a lot about Algonquin Park. It will be like so beautiful in the fall season. So we want to experience that one.
You like what you see so far?
Oh, yeah.
This time of year, it's all about the fall colors. People from all over the world flock to the region just to snap the perfect pic.
I'm from Germany and I want to see the fall. Just I expected. Yes.
It's beautiful, the wet trees.
Staff at Algonquin Provincial Park said the colors are already at its peak for the season, a little early, partly because of the summer drought.
Yeah, so right now we're actually at 100% with 30% leaf drop. So we are at peak here in Algonquin Park, especially with our reds and oranges. Those yellows and golden colors are still to come, however.
Known as the Golden After Show, those yellows and oranges will likely appear later in the month.
So good to be up here. It's good for the soul, peace of mind, all that. But I've seen better years, but I'd rather be here.
Got up here a little later than I expected, but so far so good, and it's absolutely beautiful out here, so how could you not want to be up here?
About 1.4 million people visit the park every year. The majority of those show up during the fall season for the colors. Visitors are reminded to avoid parking next to Highway 60 for obvious safety reasons. While the colors may not be as dominant as previous years, the show is still a go until the wind and rain arrive.
Wind and rain are certainly a buzzkill. Wind and rain, of course, knock the leaves down and actually creates a shorter fall color season.
Honestly, personally, I don't really like the full red color. I prefer the color with different, let's say, yellow, orange and green and everything mixed together. It makes me feel much better.
Okay, so a few things to keep in mind if you are heading up. For one, animals. Two, your speed on the highway as it will be busy. And of course, don't park next to the highway. Other than that, take a ton of pictures and send them to us. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Algonquin Park.
What a good sport. Well, a retired construction worker from Elliott Lake is $350,000 richer. Melvin Harry Heath says he's never owned a brand new car and is planning to treat himself to some new wheels. But winning isn't all about him. He's planning to share some of the windfall with his siblings. There's Lucky, and then there's being Marcel Leclerc. Leclerc won $3 million playing Instant Platinum recently, but it's not the first time he's won big. In 2017, Leclerc collected, listen to this, a $1 million check from OLG after playing Encore. The 72-year-old retiree from Sudbury says he's going to buy a house and share his win with his family. And they haven't won the Stanley Cup since the 1960s. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. But the NHL says the Toronto Maple Leafs are the league's most valuable franchise.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
No Stanley Cup, no problem, at least financially. Sportico says the Toronto Maple Leafs are the most valuable team in the National Hockey League. They're worth a whopping $4.25 billion US, which represents a 16% increase compared to last year. The company says the average value of an NHL franchise is roughly $2.1 billion. The New York Rangers are the second most valuable NHL team, followed by the Montreal Canadiens. There are 2 games tonight in the NOJHL. The Blind River Beavers are in French River to take on the Rapids. French River still looking for their first win of the season. Blind River has only managed 3 points in 7 games so far. Meanwhile, the Iroquois Falls Storm will face off against the Sudbury Cubs. These two are tied in points so far with 6 apiece. Both games start at 7 p.m. To the OHL now, where the Sioux Greyhounds are the only northern team in action. They are in Barrie to face off against the Colts at 7 p.m. The Hounds sit second in the West Division with 6 points. Both the Greyhounds and the Sudbury Wolves announced roster additions this week. The Greyhounds have officially signed 17-year-old netminder William Camputaro to an OHL scholarship and development agreement earlier this week. And today, the Sudbury Wolves announced they've acquired defenseman Liam Lads from the Peterborough Petes. The Wolves traded a 5th-round pick in the 2027 priority selection. Wolves general manager Rob Papineau says Lads will add needed experience to the blue line. Jared Kiso is coming back to Sudbury for another series titled I Kill the Bear. This is the 4th time New Metric Media has been to Sudbury to shoot a production, which the city says is great for Sudbury tourism.
It brings a lot of economic impact from
the productions being in town for the length of time that they stay here. They're staying in our accommodations, they're shopping, they are using our workforce to help with set development, and then our workforce for film. That keeps the workforce steady with work throughout the year on a more consistent timing, and so that allows for the film industry to grow and develop here in the north.
And the 6-part series touts an all-Canadian cast with well-known names like Chad Kruger from Nickelback and some returning stars from Kiso's Letterkenny and Shoresy. Fielding says that Sudbury's film industry has a lot to offer, with the unique charm of the city in combination with rural living and the visual 4 seasons that are prominent in the north. And more filming is underway in Sudbury as Dreams of the Moon is in the process of recording in the core. Dreams of the Moon tells the story of a young woman in Sudbury during the 1970s whose dream is to become an astronaut during major world events like the Civil Rights Movement and the Women's Movement. The film shows the Apollo 16 astronauts coming to Sudbury for their training when the landscape closely resembled that of the moon. Alphonse Adetuyi, the director, is originally from Sudbury and spoke about how the vast landscape changed in the environment that posed challenges for filming.
Coming to Sudbury now in 2025 has been a challenge to try to recreate 1971, only because you were so successful in creating green space in Sudbury, you know, and basically we had to find places that we could shoot, you know, dark rock, etc. So that was a challenge, but we're able to achieve it with a little bit of the black rock that you have left and some special effects. But otherwise, Sudbury looks great.
Adetuyi credits much of his creativity to Sudbury Secondary School, which he said was very advanced and jump-started his career. It's alive. A new Frankenstein movie is set to hit the big screen before Halloween, and some Hollywood heavyweights have new small screen projects. Rick Damigella has the details in tonight's Hollywood Report.
Frankenstein comes alive. This is a glimpse at Jacob Elordi's portrayal of the resurrected monster in Guillermo del Toro's take on the Mary Shelley novel. Oscar Isaac co-stars in the tense new film, which will have a limited theatrical release on October 17th before arriving on Netflix on November 7th.
I want success. Get it for me.
Demi Moore and Billy Bob Thornton face more oil drama. We have your first look at season 2 of the hit drama Landman. The pair of stars will continue tackling the pressures of a Texas oil boom as new episodes premiere on November 16th on Paramount+.
Over the right shoulder, right down the center, sir.
Walton Goggins is heading to video games. The actor will now portray his character from the TV series Fallout in the video game series from which the show is based. The Ghoul will be a major addition for the popular multiplayer game Fallout 76 and will be part of the upcoming Burning Springs expansion. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
As we told you earlier, Algoma Steel is bracing for a multi-million-dollar hit as it navigates U.S. duties. BNN Bloomberg's Mirella Fernandez has more on that.
Algoma Steel says its losses are growing as a result of American tariffs. Algoma expects to lose $80 to $90 million in its third quarter. It sent about 100,000 tons less of its steel to the U.S. because of the 50% tariff. But Algoma is getting help. Ottawa and the Ontario government have announced $500 million in financing for the hard-hit steelmaker. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.63. West Texas Intermediate is down over $1 to 60.16. Western Canadian Select is down to 50.17. And the TSX hit another record close, moving up 52 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Mirella Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down $9.99, closing the day at $3,855.64 U.S. an ounce. Silver down 37 cents to end the day at $46.95. Copper up 7 cents, and nickel moved forward 4 cents, ending the day at $6.83 U.S. a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Friday weather.
Tony, here comes the precipitation to northeastern Ontario. Let's take a look at some of the conditions that we can expect for tomorrow. Greater Sudbury, chance of showers as well. More of the same in Timmins and Sault Ste. Marie. Your temperatures 23 Sudbury, 22 Timmins, and Sault Ste. Marie at 24. Meanwhile, a look at what's happening in North Bay. Chance of showers 23. Parry Sound, well, mainly sunny skies, 23, and 21 chance of showers to Miskaming Shores. So again, Timmins with the risk of a thunderstorm for tomorrow. Could be wet for a couple of days, and the temperatures will start to get a little cooler by about midweek next week. Tony, back to you.
Thanks, Rick. Yes, you can't complain about the temperatures in the 20s. And finally, a fence is usually a dividing line in a community, but a fence in the Alberta city of St. Albert is bringing a neighborhood together. A family's fence was covered with graffiti until a stranger stepped in with an act of kindness. CTV's Merrick Takash explains.
Cars are passing by a new mural on Sturgeon Road in St. Albert. Just days ago, the same fence was covered in graffiti.
Isn't it cool? It's almost like a bit of a camouflage. But that's something subtle, something, a little more natural looking, I think, as well.
Robert Murray saw a post on Facebook about the fence being vandalized. He decided to offer a helping hand.
I offered to cover over the graffiti with a mural at no charge, because this is my home. I live in St. Albert, and it's important to me to be a part of the community and do what I can to make it right.
Kevin Nansen and his family own the fence. They're thankful for his help.
It was awesome. It didn't take him very long, and he did a great job, so we really, really loved it.
The painting was a collaboration between Murray and the Nansen family.
I spoke with the homeowner, and I sent some pictures to her and said, you choose what you think is appropriate for your fence, and she chose a fall setting.
Murray says he painted the mural as a gesture of payback to the same community that's done so much for him.
It makes a big difference in the community, for sure. You see.
Well, folks, it looks like that story's over. People helping people, communities helping others. And that's CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. Thanks for watching. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night.